Okay, there we go, recording. All right, so this is a review. Let me redo what I said. All right, I'm going on this chart, GBP, JPY on the H4, and I'm drawing one simple trend line based on what we had talked about yesterday. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go that way. All right, just based on what we had talked about yesterday in class, and I said right here is where the trend line appeared to be respected, okay? And it was looking cute for a minute, but this is where the caution was. And we drew it also from the daily. And we can see that clearly the daily was saying, hey, I'm on a downtrend. And funny enough, let's draw one more trend line because I want to know, why did you stop right here? And when I draw that, we can see this is a cluttered area right here. We're kind of touched a little bit and broke through. But anyway, different point. Let's go back here. So right here is what we're paying attention to on yesterday, because we saw, hey, it was respecting the trend line, almost touched it there, did touch it there, and started cluttering right here. And when it cluttered right here, this was the make or break point. Okay, so whenever you're just trying to do trend lines on your own, if you don't have a sexy analyst, that's cool. If you're just trying to do trend lines on your own and you just want to see, okay, what's going to happen? Okay, just draw a simple trend line touching ends to ends. You know, don't make it too fancy. Don't worry about that. I told you guys I paid $500 for a trend line class and barely learned anything from it. Okay, so just don't worry about it. 2 or 3 candles or more that's touching on the trend line that you can connect the dots. You can kind of see it gives you the overall perspective. That's all it really is. Okay, it gives you the overall perspective of whether this thing is heading up, heading down, or whatever. Okay, so what happened was right here, and let me just pull this one down a little bit more. That's where I would have put it. As you can see, I would have put mine right there because it was respecting it right here. But sometimes it doesn't do that. So this could come up and come down and touch this trend line, but that's a different story. The key is, yesterday we were talking about this pair, and as you can see, it tended to hold, went up like we anticipated and talked about, bounced up off this trend line by, and let me see, you could have still got some good pips off of it though. Let's see. Let's go to the 1 hour. I think we were talking about the 1 hour time frame. So here's where it clustered right here, clustered, and shot up. Could have got 50 or 60 pips off of that bounce off the trend line, but then later on in the evening, you can see it crash. Where are you going? Oh, she's going for a walk. Baby?
Yes, dear.
You going walking?
Yes. Dear.
Okay. All right. I'll be ready when you're done. All right. So you can see it shot up. You could have got a couple, at least some, like I said, about 50 or 60 pips off of this bounce off the trend line. So it did respect it temporarily. That's about 58 pips. But going into the what session? Going into what session, you guys? Where did the problem happen? What session? There you go, Rich. Rob, you got it first. London, always the trouble session. London is the trouble child, okay? Whenever you have a lot of issues, you're gonna find that typically it's going to be through the London Frankfurt session. Okay. And then there you go. Snapped all the way through, came back, retested, jumped back in there and dropped some more. So again, this is what we were talking about. I'm just doing a review on the one that we had discussed yesterday, but you can see the trend line break right here where it was respecting it, and then dropped on through. Now it looks like it's pulling back, but if it comes back and retests this bottom, it could continue up, back down. But we'll see. Either way it goes, that's what I was saying on this one. It was kind of shady. Remember yesterday in class, I forgot who asked me about this one. I said, hey, this one looks kind of shady to me. So I would move on to a different pair, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a review for those who wanted to kind of see how my thinking is when I'm looking at certain pairs. If you're going to draw your own trend lines, this is what I'm looking at. And it was looking a little bit sketchy. But again, this was the make or break point because you can see it's respecting it, hovered on the trend line, did bounce up a bit, but then London came in, blah, blah. Okay, now here's something to make you feel better though. All right, remember I told you, anytime I lose a trade, I want to check other pairs to see if it was just the one I chose or whether it was something else. Here's the reason why this is so critical in your artillery when it comes to trading. Don't ever forget this, because for some of you guys, and I'm going to do a video coming up soon about the emotional situation, because trading is a highly emotional business. It really is. And only those who I find to be experts at trading have mastered the ability of not the charts all the way, because the charts can change from season to season like weather, but they have mastered their emotional state over it. Okay, and we'll be on the lookout for a video on that. That's key. One of the tools that I like to use to help stabilize my emotions if I lose a trade is to go and look at other similar pairs. So type in the box which pair we're looking at. So we're all on the same page, and I'm gonna move this one of these time frames. There we go. So everybody, what pair are we looking at? Very good. We're looking at GJ. Okay, the pound versus the yen. All right. So the pound, GBP, Great British Pound, versus the Japanese yen. All right. So is it the fact that we just simply did not do a good job of selecting trades or whatever else? Because after a while, until you really get your rhythm and your footing, you're going to feel like, man, I can't win for lose. Every trade, this or that. It just, what's going on here? One of the emotional tools, and I'll give you this and then go straight into question and answer, and then I got to go take care of some things. One of the emotional tools that I use is to and I had to learn this a long time ago. Nobody taught me this. I just had to learn to do it because I was feeling hurt, feeling some kind of way, about these charts. And so I don't know how long ago or when it happened, but it was just an idea. Let me check something else. Let me go check something else. Okay. Have you anybody? Well, I don't have time. All right. I would engage in conversation about it, but we don't have time today. But the point is that I was feeling some kind of way about my trades. Just type a 10 in the box if you feel some kind of way sometimes if you lose a trade. Just so I know it ain't just me. You can be a seasoned veteran, but you're gonna feel some kind of way when you know what I mean? Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, says the word of God. Which means when your money is on the line, you're gonna still have feeling some kind of way. I don't care how long you've been trading, that's your real money. You're gonna feel some kind of way about it. Thank you, Jesus. All right. So here's the deal. One of the first things I do is I go to other pairs that have similar currencies to see what happened to them. So take a look. Everybody, this is your lesson for today, and I got to take hands and then go. This is your lesson for today to help you navigate around how you feel about a loss, because oftentimes you'll realize you did nothing wrong. I will repeat that again. Oftentimes you did nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with your strategy. There was nothing wrong with your analysis. There was nothing wrong with your trading tools. There was nothing wrong with your entries. There was nothing wrong with your stop loss. There was nothing you did wrong, except for one thing. You forgot what industry you're in. This is very important. This may be a short class, but I'll tell you to God, this is very important information. You tend to forget the industry you're in. I will repeat it again. You tend to forget the industry that you're in. The type of business you're in is a completely unstable business. So you can have a good win streak and all of a sudden start taking on a few losses. One of the things that people do is they toss everything out and start fresh, thinking that there is something that they are doing wrong, when in essence, it has nothing to do with you. And it has everything to do with the key that we just said. I will repeat my initial question. What pair are we looking at? Please type. Let's go quickly. William got it. Two countries' economies. What Great British Pound versus the Japanese yen. What we are stating when we say that is the fact that we are acknowledging that these are two completely different countries who have their own personal economy. And at any given time, an announcement can come out that can actually decimate or inflate that country's economy, one or the other. Don't ever forget this. So no matter how perfect your strategy is, the country itself can come out and make statements or announcements, or something can happen that you weren't aware about. You were unaware. And as a result of that, the currency pair could have a problem. Okay? All right. Hold on one second. Un momento. All right. So, to help me overcome my emotional state about this business, knowing that I've done everything right, I've got up at the right time, I did my analysis, I followed the rules, and yet it seems like I'm getting punished in the markets. The problem with that thought process is that you're making it all about you. Type of amen if I'm on point so far. Come on now. The problem is this whole trading process, you made it about you, but you forgot the business that you're in. If there is no news, if there's no, interference from outside sources that's going on in that country that you don't even live in, that you don't know, then yes, the charts tend to operate according to some rhyme or rhythm. But if something happens in that country that you're unaware of, because you don't live there, then that means whatever popped off can impact the currency pair that you're trading, because you're trading two countries' economies. I know we're looking at trend lines. I know we're looking at the indicators. We're looking at the arrows. We're looking at the too easy system, the strength meters and this and that. We're looking at all those technical tools. I know we are. And we do our analysis trying to play Nostradamus by calling things in advance. In other words, we're futurist. That's why in the stock market, they have a section called of traders who trade futures. That means we're trying to play Nostradamus and we're betting money on futures because we don't know what's going to happen. But based on our analysis, typical behavioral patterns, and we draw our trot lines and we do all these different things, it should do X, Y, Z. It should. But sometimes it doesn't. Type of 50 in the box if you know I'm on point. And when it doesn't do what we anticipate that it should have done, we have a problem. And we take it personal. I told you this is a short class, but this is on point because it's the TRUTH. So as a result of us taking everything personal, we forget the nature of the business that we're in. This is so good, I might post this one on YouTube. Everybody and their mama need to hear this class, including me. Nobody is excluded from this if you trade in the markets, because it happens to everyone, rich and poor, wealthy or not. This is the nature of the game, the part that we don't like. This is the part that will break a man or woman's soul, simply because we put trust into our trades. When I have been preaching for the longest, although I ain't no preacher man, but I have been preaching or telling this for the longest, never trust your trades 100%. This is why you should never over leverage on any trade at any given time, because you could be perfectly right and still end up wrong. Not because of your analysis, not because of your trading techniques, not because of your technique. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with the business itself. It has a flaw. And the flaw is that anytime something crazy goes on in any one of these countries that you're trading, that currency will have a jump in it without acknowledging you, without sending you advance notice. And therefore, you can end up losing that trade. And you wake up and it does not feel good. Type a 30 in the box if you know I'm on point. This is a short class today, but I think this is going to be a good one. Because this preaches to the heart of the man and woman who's trading in these markets and the pain of what happens when you've done all that you could do and you still end up losing a trade that you knew should have worked out. Keyword, should have. Let's go. Let's go to the charts. So how does Uncle Pete work his way around this to make sure that he doesn't get too wrapped up in his feelings about the trade? How does he avoid the turmoil of the broken heart of having placed trades and they ain't working out after following the rules? What is a technique that I can do that I can immediately implement to help offset some of the sting that I'm feeling from this lost trade? I really wish that on these replays, they can actually read y'all's comments. I can see y'all's comments during the class, but other people can't see them when they watch the replays. I wish they could, but here's what I do. Here's the technique. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. I see that we did have a trend line break. And if you were in this trade expecting to bounce, which it looked like it was about to do, everything was looking good. You place your trade and it did bounce. And like I said, you could have got 40 or 50 pips out this little short bounce right here, which I'll mark up. You could have got that, right? But if you're trying to hold the trade for a swinger, meaning, well, that didn't sound right. For a swing trade, meaning you were anticipating this could have bounced and went on back up this way, but yet it broke through the trend line and there you are, and it hit your stop, right? So you had 40 pips in your hand, 50 pips in your hand, but you anticipated it was going to go further up. And so guess what happened? You, instead of closing out some of that trade or all of it, what happened was we was looking at from this trend line. This is just if you're doing that, okay? So what happened was you held it and did the pip prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my pips to keep. If my trade should die before I wake, no. And you wake up in the morning and this trade is a loss. The first thing that I like to do before I really have a big fit is I go to other currency pairs that have similar currencies. So I'll go to, watch this, I jump to the GBP, NZD. What was the matching currency? Type. What's the matching currency? What's the matching currency? There you go, Rob. You're on point. You're on fire, brother. You got it first. The G's, the GBP. So the GBP is the one that's in front. So let me check other GBP pairs and see, did this one was the only one? Because sometimes when you lose a trade, you feel like you're the only one. So to negate that, I go to other pairs and say, hey, let me see what's popping off. And so I go to GBP NZD. Oh, big candle drop. I go to GCAD, big candle drop. I go to GBP AUD, oh, big candle drop. G Swiss, small, but you know, still a significant candle drop right here. Okay, right here. Oh, and let's go to GU. GU, what you do, boo? What you do, boo? Let's go to GU. See that candle? There you go. Big candle drop. You see that? So what is that telling me? All of the GBPs had a drop. Did they? Type of yes or no. Did all the GBPs have a drop? Then was it personal? Or was it something going on in the Great British Pound country? Was it just me? Was the charts attacking me? Was the market attacking my trade? Or was it just something happened in the Great British Pound arena that affected all of the GBP pairs and there was nothing you could do about it? There's nothing. There was something that happened And sometimes you can read announcements and you can figure out, okay, this is what actually happened. And sometimes there's no evidence of information about it at all. Their leader of the country could come out and say something crazy, or there could have been an announcement of war or anticipation of war. Anything could have came out that affected their economy, and you just so happen to have been trading it during that time. So this is how I offset my emotions to balance myself out, to make sure I don't go crazy over lost trades.
Power on.
Oh, that's my speaker. I'm sorry, you guys. I hope this is helping you. The first tool I jump to is to go look at other currency pairs with similar pairs attached to it to see, is it just me? Was it just my trade? Or was it just the entire country had an issue? And clearly in this situation, all of the GBPs had an issue. And as you can see, they're all looking to do what at the moment? All right, that's GU, little small buy candle on the G Swiss. GA got a bouncing candle coming back up. The GCAD is coming back up. The GNZD, New Zealand, is coming back up. And guess what? That could possibly mean up, and there it is. A small pullback is starting to happen on what? GJ. So what's happening? They're all moving in concert. They're all moving in rhythm. So that means that there was something that went on in that country and it had zero to do with you. Therefore, all you can do is say, thank you for letting me know. Thank you, charts. Y'all got me. Okay. Let me move on to another trade. On to the next one. Don't ever forget, some will, some won't. So what? Move on. Some will work out, some won't. So what? Move on. I'll say it again. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on. Is everybody clear on that? Type a 10 in the box if you're clear. Okay. This is how I offset my emotional state when I'm hurt over a trade, because I have to remove myself out of the picture to see that, hey, you the one wanted to jump into this arena and start trading our economies. You don't live here. You don't know what's going on. And I know you're going according to your technical analysis and your tools and everything else, but we have real issues over here in this country. And sometimes we don't. And today just was one of those days where we had an issue. And as a result, we all, meaning the country itself, the country had taken a financial hit. You just so happen to have been trading that pair. So back up, relax. It wasn't about you, boo. You think everything about you. It ain't about you. This is business. All right, let me take two hands and then we're out of here. I gotta go. CC, you're up, and then Billy, you're up, and now I gotta bounce. All right, CC.
Oh, yeah.
Crypto
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. What's up?
Let me turn my speaker back on, sorry.
Power on.
All right, go right ahead, sis.
I want to know about GJ. What could we do from technical analysis if we were awake that time that was going to break the trend line and the support?
That's my whole point. That's like, for an example, let me ask you this. I told you guys we're going to have to do a short class today because I really have to rush out and take care of something. Did I tell you what the problem was?
No.
Okay, you just being impacted with a short class today, correct?
Yes.
But that I'll tell you why.
Why?
I ain't tell you. So that's my whole point. Sometimes things happen, you ain't gonna get the facts on why it happened. You just know what happened, but you don't know why. You don't get all the facts. You're not gonna always get all the facts as to why, because you don't live in that country, and so you don't know what's going on. The only thing you know is your Nostradamus futuristic trade that you anticipated was supposed to do XYZ just did not work out. See, because some things ain't about you. It's about what's going on, which is the bigger picture. Get what I'm saying? So sometimes you will have privileged information. So such as they will put a report out on my FX book or on, FX hours or, whatever Forex Factory, whatever you get your news from, where they'll tell you in advance, hey, we have news events coming up. And you get to look at those in advance and kind of anticipate whether you want to trade or not trade during those times, which, by the way, if you're in the Signals group, I put out a big brown banner today a couple hours ago, letting you know we're in the Signals group that we're trading a little bit lighter this week. Why? Because on Friday it's NFP and the markets tend to act a little funny going up until the announcement. So we know that in advance, but in certain situations, things are going to happen that you're just completely unaware of, sis. And there's nothing you can do about that except for use good money management. So in case things don't work out, you did not blow your account. Are you with me so far?
Yes, yes.
So this is a perfect example. No, it's personal. So therefore, the only thing you know is that we're going to have a shorter class than we normally do. But do you know exactly why? No, you don't know why. And all you can do is just go with the flow. Okay, hey, we'll have a shorter class today and then we move on. Do you get privileged access to the facts? No, you don't. And life is like that. It will do things and not leave an answer. And all you can do is, okay, I'll move on to the next one, Okay, are you with me, sis?
Yes, yes.
All right, cool. Thank you, sis. Good talking with you, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Is this helping anybody? Type a 20 in the box if this is helping you. And the reason why is, and I want to be clear on what we're talking about today. This is why you have what's called a winning percentage, okay? A 70% win rate, 80% win rate, 90% win rate. The average retail trader ends up, when they start losing a couple of trades, they end up just switching out everything they've been doing as if that's going to make a difference. And it will not. There is no holy grail in this business. If you think it is, I'm telling you to quit trading now. I went on a long, several years quest thinking there was a holy grail, only to find out there isn't. Not in this business. Why? Because the nature of the business itself is sketchy. The market itself is never the same. Because it's always fluctuating based on what news and events is going on in the world. And as the world is constantly on the change, the market is constantly changing and swaying too. And so if you're looking for 100% win rate every week, I'm sorry, baby, it ain't gonna happen. You're in the wrong business. Now, when the market, there's not a lot of tumultuous events going on in the world, yeah, the market's pretty stable and you can have, really, really good weeks. But just anticipate that there's going to be times when events happen in the world that shakes up that country's economy. And it can happen at any given moment. And as a result of that, that's the reason why you lost a trade sometimes here or there. Didn't mean that your strategy was wrong, your trading system or ideology was wrong. Just remember the nature of the business that you're in. And that is where you get your winning percentages from. The problem is in this business, the average retail trader does not think accordingly. But professional traders do. So you keep claiming you want to be a professional trader, then you need to fix your thinking. Let me give you guys one more. This is really quick. I have to go, but let me give it to you like this. I told you guys, and I'm going to repeat this over and over and over again. I will repeat this over and over and over again because this was very, very monumental in my head and I still remember it. I was invited to Dallas, Texas to speak at an event they were having for entrepreneurs. And they wanted me to be the keynote speaker at this event for entrepreneurs. How they found me or why they asked, I don't know. I forgot. Yeah, somebody knew me. They knew me and they asked me to be the keynote speaker there. Right. And so I came in, there was a room full of people, all these entrepreneurs sitting in the room, ready to hear the wisdom of Uncle P and all these different things. And they're thinking I'm going to talk about strategies, which I ran restaurants, owned daycares. I did many, and I can go down a plethora of different businesses I've done and that I just don't choose not to mention because what's the point? The point is that they thought, hey, this guy's well-rounded. He's been in so many different things and so forth, and he still is. So let's have him speak to our people. And I came in and I talked about why entrepreneurs have the highest rate of divorces. And one of the biggest problems with entrepreneurs, if you're connected in a relationship or married, and this is not to tell you you're married to the wrong person, it's just opposites attract. Entrepreneurs have a taste somewhat, and I'm going to talk about you to your face, somewhat for danger, for financial danger and risk that's a little bit above average than the average person. The average person wants security and they want to be very sure of what's going to happen. Okay. I want to know that I'm going to get a check. I want to know that I'm going to be able to get this amount of money. I want to know. And then you come into an arena like this that is completely uncertain from week to week. Even on days where I don't even see a lot of news event, and then I look and seeing something and popped off. Oh, heck, what the heck, man? I checked the news, wasn't a whole lot of news supposed to be this week, and yet it seems like sometimes that's when the market is ruffling and reeling. Why? Because something happened in the country that caused a ripple effect. And in the Forex arena, here's what I find with most Forex traders that's causing you issues, causing you to mess up your account, over leverage, and all these different things. You're looking for stability and predictability in an unpredictable world. The markets are completely unpredictable, but yet they are predictable most of the time. That's the reason why we can trust trend lines most of the time. That's why we can trust support and resistance levels most of the time. Notice the key word is what? Type, type, type. What is the key word? I'm keep saying. Please type quickly. Most of the time. But there are going to be times where it does not respect that. And here's the problem with Forex traders. Forex traders have a taste for entrepreneurship, uncertainty. Entrepreneurship equals uncertainty. Always remember that. Entrepreneurship equals uncertainty because nothing is certain. You're creating your own path. So you don't know for sure what the path is going to be. You can have ideas about it, but there always will be uncertain situations that you did not anticipate that you have to have the mindset to get around it and keep it moving without dropping the ball, without stressing out, without falling apart. In other words, you have to censor your need for security. And what happens with entrepreneurs who meet their lovely significant others, oh, they're so different from me, opposites attract, that creates an issue. Why? Because you are a person who wants some uncertainty and this person wants certainty. So when you're preaching about your dreams of being a Forex trader or starting a business, they don't get it because they're saying, okay, that's cool. You can do all that, but where the check gonna come in every 2 weeks to pay these freaking bills? Type of amen, take quick, quick, quick. Type the amens, quick, 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 quick. Come on. That's a problem between two people. The challenge is you as a Forex trader, you nurture both personalities. Everything that I've been saying up to this point makes complete sense to you. It's not like you don't know. It's not like I'm preaching or speaking anything that you don't understand and haven't already known. You already know what a 70% win rate is. You already know what an 80% win rate is. You already know what a 90% win rate is. All of those will make you very, very profitable. Problem is when the 30% comes in on that 70% win rate, you heard 70%. Oh my God, 70%, 70 of my trades will win. What about the 30? 80% of my trades go in. Oh yeah, 80. If you take 100 trades, 80 of them go in. Oh, praise God. Yes, that's for me. But what about when a 20 hits you? Is the 20 gonna hit you in the front or is it gonna hit you in the back? When you start trading in the beginning of the week, it's the first 20 gonna hit you or is it gonna wait to the end of the week? See, the problem is you don't know. So the one side of you who heard the 80% is the side that's happy and wants security. See, you got both of those partners in you. So before you talk about your spouse, see, they don't understand. No, you don't either. Because you actually possess both in you. That's the reason why you're having fits when you lose a trade in the market, because the security side from you says this trade should have worked out and I'm mad that it didn't. Hold on, partner. You talked about your spouse who didn't understand your entrepreneurial endeavors, but are you having a problem within yourself as well? Because you're expecting a secure trade every time you place one. But you already knew, even if I did an 80 to 20, 80, 20, 80% win rate, that means 20 of them trades ain't going to work out. The question is, which 20? So you trying to anticipate which 20 ain't going to work out. You don't get that right. You don't get that right. Just like you don't get the right to say which 80 is going to win. Your job is to come in and you be the consistent one in this relationship called the markets. You got to come in with a consistent routine and let the chips fall where they may. You don't get to run things. So that part of you who keeps having a spasm every time you lose a trade, that's the side of you that wants security and the markets won't give it. And you have to be okay with that. And you take your hit and you come right back with your routine and there you go. And that's where you get your 80% win rate, 70% win rate, 90% win rate, knowing full well that if I do 70% win rate, 30 of them trades ain't gonna work out. 70% means 70 out of 100 trades I've taken. 70 of them will work out, 30 of them ain't. Which 30? I don't even know. Could have been this one, but then the rest of my trades for the rest of the week may work out perfectly. You don't know. Problem is you keep quitting every single time. You keep throwing your laptop across the room. You keep having a fit as if you run the markets. See, that's that side of you that expects security in an insecure world. This is why some of the greatest traders learn to manage their money, because that's the one thing you have 100% control over. So that if a trade does not work out, they know it's a small percentage of the account. I got plenty left over for the 80%, 70%, or 90%. So when those do come through, I got plenty of money in my account. Only the average retail trader puts everything or 50% of their entire account on a trade that they think looks good. And when they blow it, they're pissed and go crazy. Because the one thing they could have had 100% control over, they didn't. And that's managing your money. Type of 500 if you know I'm on point on this lesson. I told you this is a short class, but oh my God, this is on fire. And yes, I think I will post this on YouTube, probably next Sunday. I think every trader in the world should hear this message, because this separates the professionals from the retail traders. It's not the charts, it's not your knowledge. It's something like this, the understanding of the markets and how little of it you control. And the fact that market will hit your account just like it did here. Was it personal? No, there was something that happened in that country last night and all the GBP pairs fell. So it didn't matter if you was a seasoned veteran who've been trading the markets for 30 years, you got hit. If you was a retail trader who just started yesterday and you took this trade, you got hit. There was nothing that separated the rich from the poor other than the fact the rich only put a small percentage on the trade and you put almost everything you had on it. It was the mindset, not the trade itself. Let me get one more hand. One more hand and I gotta go. Raleigh, go right ahead, quickly, please. Hey, Raleigh, how are you?
Hey, Uncle P. Good to talk with you. It's been a long time.
Yes, sir. What's happening with you?
Well, I just want to specifically ask you about signals. I noticed that Mr. Elvis always suggests that, you know, if you're in the signals group and you're working mainly with him as he puts out the signals, he usually says get multiple accounts.
Yes.
Okay, that's the area that I would like a little bit more explanation about, a little bit more advice about
Sure.
the multiple accounts.
The best way to do that is to ask him directly, because that's his strategy.
Oh, okay, okay then.
Yep. I get it, because you end up growing certain, but I'd rather he explain his philosophy on it.
Okay,
So just
okay.
talk to him and let him explain that. Yeah. I'll stay out of his mouth. I don't want to say something. I understand what he's talking about, but he'll be the better person to explain his idea on that.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Thank you, sir. Which, by the way, let me say this real quick, you guys. There are certain accounts for me personally that, you know, I have short-term day.
He said, man, you ought to be a party.
I hit the wrong button. I have certain short-term day trade accounts, but then I also have a long-term account, which means that if I place a trade on this account, I have to tell myself, if you place a trade on this account, you can't touch this trade for at least 2 to 3 weeks, bro. Leave it alone, let it ride out, unless it just does a massive drop. So those are my long-term hold trades, such as, like I was telling you guys yesterday. Oh, you know what? Praise God. Let me do this real quick, and then let me do this. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Let me do this while you guys are here. I kept my promise. I told you guys I would do a video about it, but I did it yesterday. Oh, I didn't upload it. Okay, well, let me upload that video before I head out. I did upload a video yesterday with 477 pips on a particular trade. I will post that one up so you guys can kind of get a gist, and you'll see the breakdown of that trade and everything, so you can see, okay, here's what my idea was on it and this and that. So I do have a separate trade account that holds just a few pairs, but if they have long-term potential, I'll put it in there, and I keep that one off my phone, MT4, because you know you can put multiple accounts on your MT4 to watch them. That one is when I don't want to look at it. I'll check it and I put in the date. Okay, here's the date I took the trades. Let me check on it in a couple of weeks and see how it's performing. Just leave it alone. That's a long-term trade, and then you have a day trading account and stuff like that. Okay, but I prefer Elvis describes that. Okay, all right. Let me see. All right, quickly, Kenyon. Ken?
Hey, good morning, Uncle P.
What's happening? Talk to me.
Hold on 1 second. Let me close the volume off my computer so it won't get no echo. Okay,
Yes,
so I'm glad that you actually talking about what you're talking about, how don't get emotional when taking trades, especially and then the GBP pairs, how you actually showed that as an example today. Perfect. What I want everybody in the group to understand and to know, because even me myself, I had to change that part of me where I used to get super emotional about losing trades. My wife would even tell you guys, like, I used to be the guy who would always scream out DAMN or get super upset. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk to none of my friends on the phone, everything. But then when you did that video about retail traders need to control their emotions, it's not personal. So what? It didn't work out. Some will, some won't. Move on. Once I actually instilled that in my head, boom. Now every time I lose a trade, so what? Sometimes I smile about it because I know after that loss, a win is bound to come.
That's correct.
And this is it's the psychology that a lot of us here inside of our group need to actually understand. And here's another thing too that can help everybody out. Whenever it's NFP week, you heard Unc say that even in the signals group, they're trading lightly. He's not meaning that they're trading lesser lot sizes. That means they're taking less trades. Hint, hint.
Correct.
If Uncle P is doing it, Mr. Elvis doing it, Miss Jenny and them are all doing it. These are the guys who actually made it. We're the ones that's trying to make it. Take a hint. We do not need to take every single trade.
Yeah.
On Sunday and Monday, I got all my pips, over 300 something. I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
chilling for the rest of the week. I seen all these different setups.
Yeah.
I see people in the group talking about the setups and the 415ers. So what? We can still talk in the group. We can still look at the setups that everybody talking about. You can even look at your own setup, but don't press the trigger.
Yeah.
You can control your lot size. So for money management, you also can control if you hit that sell or buy button or not too.
Yeah.
Wait till NFP week is done. Once it's done, then go ahead and go all back into the markets.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people need to understand, and you guys just need to test it out. Because on August the 5th, that's another NFP week next month. So that Monday, the 1st, you guys need to take less trades. That should be your month that you actually practice that. I mean, you're going to see some good setups. You're going to want the money, but this is going to help your psychology, and it's going to help y'all future trades as well too. So you guys can actually understand and play around with the 0.01 lot size and the 0.02 lot sizes. Once you guys play around with that and you take a couple of losses with those lot sizes, it's not going to affect you as much.
Yeah.
Then you actually going to get it and be like, okay, yeah, some will win, some will lose. So when y'all start using 0.25 and higher, and you take them losses, you cool with it.
Yeah.
You cool with it.
Because it ain't
But
gonna be
that's all I wanted to say to everybody. Love you, sir. I know that it's a short class and you got to go.
Yeah.
But I just want everybody to know, trust me, y'all, I was there too. I understand what Unc's saying. I applied the stuff, and boom, my winning percentage is up there now because I take less trades.
Yeah. And that's the whole point, you guys. Again, I'm just trying to let you guys know in this group, what I'm trying to do or have been doing for a very long time now is exposing the side that most Forex traders never say a word about, as if it doesn't exist. Just because you don't speak about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. In this world, everybody takes on losses. And that, I think it's a very unfortunate situation that's going on, because when the average retail trader takes losses, they feel like it's just you. And that's because the ones who consider themselves leaders or doing videos and this and that, they never talk about their losses. They never talk about how it feels to take on losses. They don't say anything. They just, let me say this to you guys. God, I've got to say this and go. When I used to go to a lot of events, you know, trying to learn what are the successful people doing and all these different things and blah, 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 blah. And they get up on this stage and they talk, and they looking over the crowd and they're talking to the crowd, and the crowd is looking up to them. Notice the position. They're looking down over the crowd. The crowd is all looking up to them. And so there's a sense of, even if they don't mean to, it's a sense of superiority. And they talk about how they succeeded. And it has always bothered me. And I admire people like the Bishop T.D. Jakes and this and that, whether you like him or not as a preacher, it doesn't matter. Me, I look and listen to him as a businessman. I love when he does individual speaking engagements about his personal life, because he says a lot of people criticize me for who I am. They think I'm after money and this and that. He said, I was preaching when my lights was out. He said, I was preaching when my wife had to sleep on one of the benches in the church because we didn't have a phone. They cut my phone off. They repossessed my car, and I was still consistent in preaching. I was showing God that I can be consistent no matter what. And he said, I've been doing this thing long before money came along. He said, we had to pick fruit from a tree. He said, one car they donated to him, the floorboards was out of the bottom of the car, and he had he was on his way to church, and I think the car went out and he had to get pushed down the hill to get the clutch working, something like that. I forgot what it was. But he was telling people, you keep trying to tell people about who I am now, because I'm doing movies, television, on real estate, business. I'm well connected. But see, you're talking bad about me now, but you didn't know what I went through to become and get where I am. And he said, I was doing this before money ever showed up. And I respected that. I actually met him. I know him. And I respected that part, because he was not willing to share what he had to go through to become who he was. And I respect people who was willing to do that. I don't mind you talking about your successes, but what I need to know from the crowd looking up to somebody who I'm considering to be like, I need to know, what did it really take? You keep telling me about these meetings you have with these people, and then it's just like magic, everything worked out for you. But you skipped over the part where you were sitting in the midnight hour crying because you didn't think your dream was going to work out. You failed to share the part about the people who walked out of your life. You failed to share about the times when you was in doubt yourself and you wanted to quit and give up. You failed to share about the time when you quit your job assuming that you was going to make it and you fell flat on your behind and had to humble yourself and go back and get a job to work that job until the dream worked itself out. You failed to mention all that. So when you walk off this stage, giving this superiority speech, everybody in the audience think, well, maybe God likes him more than he likes me. Maybe God likes her more than he likes me. When in essence, it takes a hustle. God can give you an idea, but it requires hustle from everybody. And it's just like they forget to tell that part of the struggle. And it leaves in the mind of the people that everything is supposed to be just honky-dory fine. Or let me give it in another way. In the Christian community, here's what happens. The moment something bad happens on the way through your process of trying to achieve your dream, when you come to stumbling blocks, this is what I hear said all the time. Well, it must not be the Lord's will. Where did you get that from? In the Bible, almost everybody in the Bible, whoever was name worthy that we're still discussing today, they all had struggles that they just didn't give up on. And now, centuries later, we're still talking about them because of what? David. Oh, David, he killed Goliath. Yeah, but you missed the whole thing where, he was praised momentarily, but then the king himself, who told him to do the job, tried to assassinate him. And he was on the run for years before the king who tried to assassinate him actually died in battle, and then he became king. Don't miss the section of him being on the run, living in caves and sleeping on the ground. And even his homeboys left him for a little bit and disbelieved. And he said, I had to believe in myself. See, we look at people's end story and we want to glorify the end of the story, but nobody shares what happened in between. And it leaves a false narrative in the people's heads of other people who's coming up the ranks. As if nothing, if anything happens to you that is not according to plan, then there's something wrong with you. And that's not true. It happens to everybody. And I choose not to hide parts of my story. You need to know. It hurts when you lose trades. It hurts when you had a plan. It hurts when this didn't work out. It hurts. But here's what helps. And that's why I showed you guys what I did. When I lose trades, the first thing I do is jump to other similar pairs, because I want to know, was it just me or was it something going on in the countries that affected it? And if it was something that happened and all of them did the same thing, it makes me feel so much better because I know it wasn't what? Type. It wasn't what? Personal. Type. It wasn't what? It wasn't what? I want to see in the group. Bingo. And that get your behind up out your feelings. And that's not just for Forex, it's in life, period. Life will slap you like a pimp and leave you wondering, what did you do wrong? People do that to you too. And I realized that some people, they just sick in their own heads, and I just happen to be crossing their path. That's why I disconnect from people very quickly. It feels personal, but sometimes they got turmoil in their own sick heads. And I just don't want to be a part of that. But this is part of the process. Success is not easy. It comes with things that you didn't anticipate. And this is why people who want security all the time tend to have a tough time in arenas like this. All right, gotta go. I love you guys. Thank you for this class. Hopefully this class, if this class was helpful, please type a 500 in the box. I think I am going to post this one on YouTube because I really want people to really learn from this. I think this will really help a lot of people. This was a shorter class, but I think it was very, very important. I think I'm going to use this one for Sunday. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to close on out and got to go. And I will talk to y'all next week.